Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis, Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Catch our shows each and every Monday through Friday, 12 to 3, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. You can also go back and watch our old shows, our interviews, whatever you need, that same spot, or jakibsports.com. You can check all that out. Let's go to the defensive side, guys. We talked about the offense a little bit. A couple of things that are troubling Mailata's play of late for sure, but, for the most part, a lot of positives here. Defensively, and this has been something that a trend that we've seen here the last couple of weeks. But by the way, let me just mention first, they only gave up 17 points, but 168 yards rushing, more than 5 yards per carry.
Whoa.
Dameon Pierce, who's a stud, 27 rushes, 139 yards, more than 5 yards per carry. They're now 18th in the league in rush defense, allowing 121.4 per game. Barrett, I'll give you the floor first. Concerning, not concerning? Where do you fall with the Eagles' rush defense?
It's very concerning now. I didn't think so at first because I know this is a team that likes to overcorrect when they self-correct, but that's something that they haven't been able to totally get the hang of. Yes, they're not letting teams, and 17 is like the magical mark as a defense that everybody tries to trend. If you can keep a team under 17 points, that's like the magic number that all defensive coordinators try to stay under. So if you can stay there, you have a great defense, great defense statistically that you're doing your job. So when you look at it, it looks like Ganner's doing a great job. He's got his guys playing, and they're keeping teams under 17 points. But tackling is such an issue, even though C.J. Garner-Johnson is playing at absolute great ball hawking type of player, but he's got to stop trying to bump guys and try to knock them down. You got to wrap up, man. Yep. And Pierce just showed my balance is too good. I run too hard. I'm too physical for you to come up and just try to lay a hit on me and knock me down, which is why that led to these run. I hate to see. I'm scared to look at yards at the contact because yesterday it might have put them over the map. They're probably ranked last right now as far as yards at the contact. Because their yak yardage, as soon as they were getting hit, bam, they just kept going. They just ran through people. And it wasn't until the fourth quarter that they started tackling, and they started tackling around the line of scrimmage where the defensive linemen were making the tackles and the linebackers were making the tackles. They got to the second level, to the safeties or to the corners. I didn't see a lot of great tackling, man. So that's something that the defensive back's going to have to work at. They're going to have to. And linebackers got to work at it also.
All right, Gunner, I know, look, you've been talking about this, and this has been a concern of yours, really even when the Eagles were kind of rolling through teams here, what's happening. And also just to put it in perspective, going into last night's game, Pro Football Focus had the Eagles 31st in tackling, and they ranked 29th in yards per rush. Not great. So tell me what you're seeing here, Derek.
Their tackling has been abysmal. I've been talking about this for weeks. That 36-yard run was a prime example of what Pierce had last night. He flat out beast mode that defense. And I'm talking about everybody who tried to grab him from the trenches to the linebackers to the secondary. He straight-armed two guys on his way to that 36-yard run. Okay. I don't know what they're doing. There was a couple times I saw DBs throw a shoulder into him like Bear was just talking about, bounce right off of him. You're not going to tackle a big man like that in the game. And I've always said, not just the Eagles, but I've always said, who in the world taught DBs or even linebackers to grab a big man up shoulder and try on his shoulder pad? First of all, because of the way they make these jerseys nowadays and how tight they are, you can't get a good grip on them, first of all. Second of all, you can't stop a big man's momentum when you have a side angle and you're trying to tackle him up on his shoulder pad. Who taught you this? Go down and take his legs out from under him. But last night was another prime example. Houston had an average offensive line at best.
Yep.
And Hargrave exposed it when he had to, okay, with his ability to just straight ahead bull rush. But you made that offensive line look like one of the better offensive lines in the National Football League with a fourth-round draft pick who is a good back, but he is not Jonathan Taylor. He is not Aaron Jones. He's not Derrick Henry. He's not Saquon Barkley. Oh, by the way, you're going to see all of them in consecutive weeks, especially if Taylor's healthy. as bad as as mediocre as these teams are coming up, except for the Giants, what's the first thing as an offensive coordinator I'm doing? We are loading up and we're taking 18-wheelers right down Main Street because they cannot stop us as long as that mobile home Jordan Davis is on the sideline. They can't stop us. And if they can't stop us with the run, it makes it a much closer game. Okay? So 2 weeks in a row, we've watched teams be able to have success running the football, and this defense has not made the necessary adjustments to play the gaps better, play better sound gap control. And the guys on the second tier and the third tier are not stepping up and wrapping up and making the tackles. This has been a problem for weeks. It's going to be an even bigger problem because of the names I just mentioned. As bad as Green Bay is struggling, they ran for 183 yards on Buffalo's defense, which is one of the best run defenses in all of pro football. What am I going to do when my team's struggling? What did Houston do last night for a team that nobody on the planet gave a chance of winning that game?
Yeah,
They ran the football and made that game a lot closer than it should be.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, DB started trying to creep up. Next thing you know, you got a guy named Davis Mills completing passes down the field to receivers I ain't never heard of them, making acrobatic catches and stuff down the sideline because and you know what? This second week in a row, people going after Bradberry again. They're going after Bradberry for a reason. So there's something we're not seeing with this Bradberry.
Part of it is you don't get near. They only targeted Slay twice, and they were both incompletion.
You're not going
that's
Slay.
part of it. In fairness, it's not just that they're targeting Bradberry.
Okay.
They don't want any parts of Slay.
Why are they picking him as the weak link? As good as he's been playing, why are they picking him as the weak link?
Because he's one of those guys that, you know, I try to explain before. You look at Slay. Slay's a man-to-man coverage type of corner.
Mm-hmm.
He can run and get in your hip, and he can play. He can be that gnat, you know what I'm saying? So is Avonte Maddox. He's that type of player. But that's not what Bradberry is.
Okay.
Bradberry is more of a zone corner. When I say zone corner,
right,
he likes things to develop in front of him and then ready to react off of them. When you put him in a situation where he has to play man, he can do it. He can be serviceable, but that's not his claim to his claim to fame. That's not how he made his fortune. He made his fortune is letting things develop in front of him, breaking on stuff, watching film, understanding what route they're trying to run on him, you know, giving him an opportunity to play off whatever they're trying to do because he's seen the film to do it. He didn't get enough time this week to watch film and really get and hone down what they do on the offensive side of the ball for this Texans team. So, I mean, I'll give him a break. You know what I'm saying? I'll give him a break. He's still a big time guy, but he's gonna get that. He's gonna get the bulk of that from this point on because they found something that, you know, these defensive coordinators are starting to see, and it's a copycat league, and they're going to keep going to him until he stops the bleeding.
And my comment towards Bradberry is not based on him playing bad. I think he's an excellent corner. I think he has been, and I've said this, I've gone on record of saying this, I think he is a perfect complement to Darius Slay on that opposite side. Absolutely. He has been a steal for what they're paying him, $10 million, whatever they're paying him for 1 year. He has been a steal. But like it's just said, the coordinators are identifying something, you know, now, because you go back to last week, that kid George Pickett makes an incredible catch. He gets called for offensive pass interference. They kept going back there, and they kept going back there. And then he kept going inside with Philip Dorsett, of all people. Philip Dorsett, who's a journeyman now, and some kid named Moore I never heard of before, okay? Your top two receivers didn't even play in the game last night for Houston. But the run defense, when you start playing better teams, is going to be a problem if they don't fix this. And we're 8 games into the season, and I see it getting worse instead of getting better.
Right.
And that collection of running backs that we see coming up are primetime players. They're all 1,000-yard rushers. Derrick Henry just ran for 200-something yards on Houston's defense. What's he going to do against this Eagles run defense? I'm giving him the ball 45 times against this. You know what? Malik Willis, you'll be lucky if you throw the ball 10 times as you just did this past Sunday. We're going Derrick left, Derrick Henry left, Derrick Henry right, Derrick Henry up the middle.
Well, we keep talking about those, but we keep talking about those teams. You keep talking about those teams. Bruh, Antonio Gibson is a pretty good runner.
Antonio Gibson.
Who they get a week from Monday. Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, they have a much better quarterback, which is hard to say, in Taylor Heineke than Carson Wentz running the offense.
He definitely gives him a better chance to win.
He gives him a better chance. If they run the ball on this Eagles defense, we're talking about a game that shouldn't be as close as it should. And Mr. Ellis, I know you don't want me, you don't want to hear me say this, but I'm officially handing you back my ticket for my seat on the Gannon wagon until further notice.
Okay. Here's all I'll say.
You can have the ticket until further
17
notice.
points.
Yes, they're the best opportunistic defense in the league.
But
I will give you that.
I
agree with you.
But here's my problem, not with what you just said. When they miss tackles, it's Jonathan Gannon's fault. When they intercept balls, they're great players. We give no credit to Jonathan Gannon.
No, you're right. People say that. I agree. But we look at the game from a different perspective. Okay. Right. That's the general fans' consensus, right? Jonathan Gannon gets way too much of the blame for this. You know, what I'm talking about is player. This is player deficiency. This is not a coaching deficiency.
No, I hear you.
This is player deficiency.
It's fair. Look, and the big giant 6'6", 340-pound elephant in the room is there's no Jordan Davis, right? So as much as I think early on people were like, this guy's not really having an impact. Well, he does, and he was when he got opportunities, and you saw him getting better each week. That was a big injury, man. And it may not rear its ugly head now, but it may at some point. They're missing that kid. Okay, they are absolutely missing that kid.
Rob, you hit it on the head, man. Because you can't expect Gannon to go out there and tackle too. Yeah. He's not putting on the pads. He's not have these guys coming up and just bumping guys and trying to thump guys. You know that comes from practicing like that, coming up and thumping a guy in practice as opposed to go up and tackling a guy. Mm-hmm. They don't practice tackling, so how are you supposed to learn how to tackle like that? So it's really hard. It's really hard to teach these DBs how to tackle when they're not asked to tackle in practice.
Fair. That's fair.
Now, what you can't blame Gannon for is you can't even blame him because he saw the fault. He saw the fault in it. In that first drive, they drove down to score. He saw that they could not stop the run with a 4-man front. They had to go to a 5-man front. Mm-hmm. So he adjusted to that and started using the personnel that he had there. And he went through all the personnel packages he could get to get to a point where they could stop the bleeding.
Right.
But it still didn't. You still can't. He still got to get in CJ Garner-Johnson's ass for coming up and trying to thump a guy. Epps
he doesn't rap. CJ is not a rapper, man.
He's not. Yeah. I mean, he has.
And there's a lot of DBs that are like that.
Agree.
That's how they tackle.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah.
If you look at Slay, Slay's a rapper. That's what Slay does.
Yeah.
He raps up. Avonte Maddox is a thumper.
Yeah, for a small guy, he's
a thumper.
Right. Does a nice job.
Epps is a tackler. Everybody has to be tacklers.
Yeah, I think so. Two things other than the run, which is certainly paramount. Like when when we talk about special teams, the run defense has taken way more of a priority for me over the special teams, even though it hasn't been great. The other thing I'd like to see, and Hargrave was awesome, and he's been awesome. I want to see the Eagles' defensive ends get home more. Where is Josh Sweat? I asked this.
Thank you.
I said it last year, and it's. I don't know, man. Like, I don't get enough out of Josh Sweat. I'm sorry. I just don't.
That's my fault.
Yep. Yeah.
He was one of my preseason picks. That's my fault. I'm not doing any more. You guys going to ask me to do this next year. I'm not going to have any preseason picks. I'm just going to go into the season because I didn't keep that to myself, man, because I have cursed the Raiders and I have cursed Sweat.
And Malata. Hey, Barry, last night I called Josh Sweat Derek Barnett Part 2 minus the bonehead penalties.
Oh, we ain't gonna go that far now.
Well, I said minus the penalties. Think about
this. He's got 2.5 sacks through 8 games.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
What did Barnett do? He would show up for a couple of plays. Yeah. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Then disappear the rest of the game. Right? That's Josh Sweat.
Yeah, he frustrates me. I got to tell you, man. Like the two guys who are really delivering in terms of getting home. Certainly Reddick. We know that, and Hargrave now. The fact that Hargrave at the defensive tackle spot, is doing what he's doing, is really phenomenal. He has 6 sacks. I mean, that props. He's been awesome. But there are others that need to start pulling their weight too.
I'm glad you brought up Hargrave, and I don't have an opinion on this, but it made me think. So after the show last night, we're getting up from our set, and the guy who was in the casino watching games on the monitor, watching the monitor and stuff. He's D-Guy, how many sacks did Hargrave finish with? I said he had 3. Oh, so he has 5 in the last 2 games. I said, yeah, he's had 5 sacks in 4 days. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah? Who did he get them against? And I shut up and I said, Pittsburgh's porous offensive line and Houston's offensive line. He goes, Enough said, and just walked off laughing. I'm like,
yeah, but enough said yes and no. The whole league
okay.
is mediocre to bad.
I
So
know, man.
these other guys who are racking up sacks are also doing it against bad teams.
I know,
too.
man. I'm just saying the dude looked at me and said, and I'm like, oh.
We're tough, man. We are tough in this town.
All right, okay. You know what? I mean, he made a valid point. I'm not supporting his statement.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he made a valid point and rode off into the sunset like Clint Eastwood. That's all I'm saying. I was like, he's got 5 and 4 days. Okay, let's see. Pittsburgh, Houston. Okay. But you're right.
I don't care.
I don't care what would we say if he didn't get him?
Yeah, we kill him for not doing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, put it like this. Didn't Hassan Reddick get 6 sacks in one game?
Last year? No,
was it one game?
Do you have 6 in one game?
I don't know if it was that many in one game.
Against the Giants.
6?
You might be right.
5 in one game against the Giants. And he ended up with 10 this year. And he got a big contract. So it don't matter.
You're right about that. Who you get it against.
It don't matter who you, just as long as you get them.
It's
you
true.
know what I mean?
It's true.
Hassan had, I think, 5 sacks against. It might have been 6.
You might be right.
Against the Giants, and ended up with 10 that year. So, I don't care what you call me, just as long as you call me.
I hear you. Okay, look, fair enough. I'm with you. I understand the level of competition. But that's a lot of the league. In terms of who you're playing. Just look at some of these divisions. Teams over 500. It's a bad league in general. It just is.
Barrett, it was 5 sacks 2020 against the Giants.
See, I knew it was something like that, man. 5 sacks in one game, bro.
Yep.
In 2020, that's 2 years ago. That's his first year getting double-digit sacks, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's when Arizona started using him differently, and then the next year he went to Carolina and was in double digits as well. After that, but
that's what it is. You Sweat, Quinn, Reddick, Graham. We need more.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Barrett, somebody chimed in and said, hey, didn't Barrett also say BG will get double-digit sacks this year?
I'm just killing people, man.
No, they're killing you. They're trying to kill you.
My fault. I'm just ending guys' careers. What am I doing, bro?
Oh, my God.
My apologies.
No more. Here's the thing, Barrett. No predictions the rest of the day for you.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, here's the good news. So as hard as it is to turn it around in 4 days and play, especially on the road, you win, and now you get 11 days off because they don't play until Monday night. So this is great. I mean, it's like a second bye in a 3-week span.
Bro, they don't have to be back to work until Monday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Monday.
Yeah.
How is that beautiful? No, we need to go out there and do some tackling.
I'm talking about for the banged up guys. They can heal.
Oh, yeah, but we need tackling drills. And you know what? I need to give big fella some credit. Fletcher Cox was hurt. I saw it. I thought he was done.
I did too, man. I thought his knee was gone.
And the big fella came out there and still balled, running after plays, making things happen, man. I big ups to Big Fletch. Big ups to him.
Yeah, I was surprised. He only missed one play.
But there you go.
What's the matter there?
I predict the Astros in 7. There we go.
Fitness Rebel said Barrett predicted the Astros in 7.
Yeah, please hurry up, Barrett. Predict them tomorrow night and then predict them in 7.
Rebel, I predict them in 7. Yeah.
There you go. Rebel, good work out of you.
They take the World Series in 7. See, that's what I'm saying. We got smart people on the stream. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
All right. So they set up right now with obviously the best record in football. There's if you in terms of one-loss teams, you have Buffalo, and you have the Vikings, and that's it. There you go. So they're set up nicely, is my point. And they survived this game. It wasn't pretty. They're not always going to be pretty. And the way the schedule is, it's going to be a couple of like Washington's won 3 in a row. And depending on what they do this week, and I think they may, by the way, I'll throw it out there to you guys right now. I'm predicting an upset. I think Washington may win outright over the Vikings.
Oh, you're going D-gun mode making predictions now.
If that's the case, 4 in a row for Washington. So
That's
it's
right.
not like they would be taking on a team that's limping in. Washington will have been playing at a high level, and Chase Young may be back by then.
Oh,
I think
Practicing.
he will be
Practicing.
back. He's practicing now, so I
Yep.
think he will be back.
Yeah. So, this will not be easy, man. I'm telling you, this will not be an easy one.
Wow.
Yeah, that the Eagles have coming up. So they're home for Washington Monday night, a week from Monday, at Indy, Green Bay home, Tennessee home. So, Derek, as you pointed out, 3 of those teams, if Taylor's right, and it looks like Taylor may not play this week,
Right.
but you would have Taylor, you'd have Jones, you'd have Henry, you'd have Barkley. Boom, 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 coming at you in terms of the running game.
Jones and the other kid from Boston College.
Dylan, the big kid.
A.J. Dillon, yeah.
They ran all over.
Yes, they did. Buffalo.
The Bills.
Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? But you guys were talking about Thursday night football. Can we do away with 8 o'clock games, please? We got 2 in the next 3 games. I'm sick of night football games, man.
Well, I have yet to be to sleep yet.
Yeah.
I know.
I have yet to be to sleep. I mean, I went straight from the post-game show, packed, jumped in my car, drove to the airport, rested my eyes for about 45 minutes, got on the flight. I can't sleep on a flight, because of snoring. I might have somebody looking at me. I wake up, somebody looking at me, man. I'm fighting, you know what I'm saying? So I can't do that. So
no, it's not good. Like, listen, and people are gonna be like, shut up, you guys. You're not digging ditches, but it sucks for us. It's not fun. It's not,
right.
It's funny.
not a pleasant experience. The turnaround, you're on. Because the problem is both days are long. Like yesterday's super long, super long, and then today is a crazy turnaround. With no forgiveness. It's like business as usual. So
and I asked these guys for the day off, and they said no.
No. It's funny. It's funny you should say that, Barrett, because it'd be about 10 years ago. I'm on a flight with my crew. We had to catch an early morning flight. I didn't get much sleep at night. And normally I'm like you. Anytime I try to fall asleep on the flight, the slightest bump, slightest turbulence, turbulence, I'm up like this, right? So something got the best of me and I slept. And I must have slept for about an hour. And all of a sudden I woke up. You know how you wake up and go, in mid snore, right?
Yeah.
On the flight. And I wake up, I look around, and people are sitting there looking at me like this. So my photographer, Jerry Hines, Jerry Hines.
Yeah,
he's always, a little smart aleck,
Yep.
He looks at me, he goes, dude, man, you were snoring loud. I said, dude, I told you if I start snoring,
wake me up. Yeah.
Wake me up. And he goes, it was too much fun watching people watch you. I'm like, I woke up I'm looking around and people are looking at me like, you just ruined my whole flight.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
bro. I mean, they might. You see that new commercial with Big Red? He's
drawing mustaches.
I love that commercial. I love that commercial.
Somebody doing that to me, and I have to hurt the whole plane. But.
Yeah, exactly. You're not laughing it off like Patrick Mahomes did.
No.
Rob, the funny thing is, he would get up and try to hurt somebody on the plane, dude.
Listen, yes, correct, as he should. Somebody's drawing on me. It's on. You know what I mean?
It ain't no D gun sitting there to talk him off the ledge.
No.
No, because you would be the one to do it.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yes,
no.
you would. You'd be able to read in that scenario.
I would be the one laughing my butt off at his expression.
No, you would put somebody up to doing it.
Okay, I might Jerry Hines up for it.
I might do that. I get Jerry Hines or somebody. Yeah, I do that. Yeah. I wouldn't physically do it. I'd be dying laughing watching his expressions and the words that come out of his mouth afterwards.
Oh my God.
I would be dying over that.
What's up with the words? Why are you always telling people that you got my mom thinking I'm a sailor, man?
No, I don't.
My mom texts me every day. We don't need people to, hear that stuff. Like, yes, ma'am. Hi, Mom. How you doing,
Hi,
Mom?
Papa Brooks.
Bear, am I telling the truth or not?
I don't cuss a lot. I don't.
No, I'm not saying a lot. I'm saying when you get angry.
Well, I mean, anger is something I got to deal with, man. I don't turn green, but I might get a little frustrated, man. He ain't right. Derek is not right.
No, I know. He's trying to start stuff. That's what he does. He's a pot stirrer. He's stirring the pot. That's what he does. Oh my God. All right. Let's get a timeout and we will there's Mama Brooks. You're doing good today, she says.
Thank you.
She's happy. She's happy with what your performance so far.
Oh man. Oh,
Good
my
stuff.
goodness.
Good stuff. All right, so let's
Got my
do this,
chest hurt,
guys.
man.
Yeah, let's get a quickie in here, and we will. There's Mom. I'm sorry, I'm hitting the wrong stuff here. I'm so excited about Barrett's cursing. So we'll come back and we'll do a little hodgepodge, little birds, and a little bit of Phillies. 2:00 NFL talk. A couple major injuries, guys, to receivers, some big ones. We'll get into our top 5 rankings in the NFL, Week 9 preview of the big games that are out there. And then the final segment, we will talk to our friend Dan Koob from Sport Trade, see what he's got on his mind in terms of the weekend and the betting and the Phillies and all that good stuff. So we'll do all that when we get back. Don't go anywhere. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis, we're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. I want to tell you about my good friends at Flynn Tree Services. Flynn Tree Services is an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted tree off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problem that you may face. So here's the question. Do you have any type of issues with a tree or a bush or whatever the case may be in your yard or on your property? If you do, they're just a quick phone call away. They are experts at trimming all types of trees, and they serve southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. Flynn Tree Services specializes in tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. Now, keep in mind, we got storm season, hurricane season coming up. Now's a great time to have them out and have them evaluate your tree situation. Go to their Facebook or Instagram page for more information or a sampling of their work. Flynn Tree Services. You give them a call today, 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or reach out online at flynntreeservices.com. That's flynntreeservices.com.